It's funny where your mind automatically goes to when you hear certain words. Like when I say gray, right away you think handsome, stylish, perfectly fitted suit. And if I say racing, I know that most of you just thought of cars scooting around a track. But if you look back in history, once Wilbur and Orville gave us the plane, the word race had many people thinking of airspace. When it comes to modes of transportation, racing is the proving ground. We race horses, cars, these things. And yes, would you believe, even airplanes.
Airplane racing is like automobile racing, has been around almost since the beginning of the airplane. Organized airplane races certainly were taking place as early as 1909 with the first races over in France. And they continued really right into the 1930s.
I met up with the Henry Ford's curator of transportation, Matt Anderson, to learn how these early plane racers sent aviation innovation soaring. Now, what kind of a plane is this?
This plane was absolutely cutting edge for its time. Built in 1920, it's the RB-1 from the Dayton Wright Company. It was built to win an air race.
It's a racing plane.
Absolutely. Top speed on this is something like 190 miles an hour.
And I must confess, I'd never heard of a racing plane.
Airplane racing became very popular even before World War I. And the idea was to prove the reliability and the durability of airplanes, but also to get publicity for the then burgeoning industry of aviation.
How the heck do planes even race each other? Is it, Los Angeles to New York?
Many of these early races were on closed courses. Closed in the sense that it was controlled airspace, but they would be racing in a circuit around pylons, big towers, maybe 50 feet tall. And some of the smaller races, the pylons might only be a few thousand feet apart, but in the bigger races where the planes are faster, they could be several miles apart.
Initially, the planes would fly one at a time, racing against the clock. But soon they were flying wing to wingtip, requiring tighter turns around pylons, making the planes nearly perpendicular to the ground. It was thrilling to see, but certainly more dangerous. Are there any big developments in aviation technology that we owe to airplane racing?
This RB-1 is full of some important developments. When you look at it, you notice it's got just one wing. It's a monoplane rather than a biplane, which a lot of aircraft were still using that design in 1920. It's got controllable flaps on the front and back of the wing to adjust the shape or the camber of the wing. It's got retractable landing gears, so you can pull the wheels up to have a smoother body shape in the air.
Was that new?
It was new. This was the first time it was used specifically for aerodynamic advantage.
So how did this plane do?
Unfortunately, during the race, one of the control cables for the wings snapped. So the pilot was fine, he survived, but he had to pull out of the race, so we'll never know.
Are people still airplane racing?
There are still air races that take place around the world. In fact, Reno, Nevada hosts one of the biggest air races. They get up to 150,000 people and participants who come out there to see planes race in 6 different classes. Even jets race there.
Ordinarily, I exhort our audience to dream big and don't quit. I think I'll make an exception when it comes to airplane racing. Dream big, don't even think about it.